Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Schmoedown Rundown. Introducing first, Frankie Stan Janet, and the host of the Schmoedown Rundown, Brad Gilmore.
What's up, Movie Trivia Schmoedown fans? Welcome to the Schmoedown Rundown, the official after show for the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. My name is Brad Gilmore, but you might know me by another name.
You might.
You might know me as The Boat. Hashtag best of all time. Hashtag Brad's opinion is true. Hashtag I'm on a boat. Hashtag boat life. Hashtag my girlfriend calls me Dreamboat. Hashtag I call my mother the mothership. What's up, my fellow sailors out there? We are back here at the World Gym Arena. Frank Janish, let me welcome you in. This is the man with the plan, the stat man himself, numbers himself. Frank the Tank Jenga Janish is in the building. Frank, we are back here in the World Gym Arena the night after history was made.
Yeah.
The Schmoedown Live went down. We saw two matches with unforgettable finishes for a multitude of different reasons.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were surprised by maybe some of the things that we saw. Some people weren't. And I got to say, it was a phenomenal night.
I really loved everything about this night, and we'll definitely get into the juicy parts here. But the matches themselves, while yes, they both ended in KOs, knockouts. I thought just being in that ring alone made everything. Because normally when you see a knockout match, it's like, no, okay, it's quick, done. But this, because of the setting and really the stakes for both matches, because the Founding Fathers lost to Double Toasted, that's a tough loss to overcome. Despite, Merle has that title shot, so it doesn't really matter. But they're the Founding Fathers, so they have like a reputation to uphold. So if they were to lose, it wouldn't be good. But the way they won, Dan Merle had a perfect first round, and they got it spin their way. So, incredible.
And we're going to break down the actual matches. Yeah. Obviously, we have to, because that's kind of what we do on the show. But let's talk about the overall experience of the weekend, because you got into town to win.
I got it here Thursday morning. Yeah,
Thursday, okay. And I think that's when we got together. Right?
Yeah.
We got together on Thursday, and we filmed the rundown then. But that was really just barely the beginning of this incredible weekend. On Friday evening, it was the show of shows, the
right.
Mark Ellis and Friends Live from the Joke Joint. I got it right this time.
Yeah, not the Juke Joint. That's not
the Joke Joint. We saw, Brett Sheridan, Ken Knapsack, John Roca, and Mark Ellis all do stand-up. Jen Sturgeon was out. She was not feeling under the weather. And is Brett Sheridan one of the funniest people ever?
Holy crap. I went up to Brett, and I was like, what are you doing, man? Why do you stop sitting on your couch, come out and tell jokes and dude, I was crying laughing at a couple points. He is so funny. And
so you saw the second set, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I saw the first one. They were both great. It's just there was one thing that he did. I mean, and this was like an improv moment, but he was looking for his notes on his phone, and he pulls out his phone case instead of his actual phone.
Oh, really?
So he looked at it and he goes, "Those aren't my notes." And then it was so funny though. He had everybody cackling, crying, laughing. He was so great.
Phenomenal, man.
And his closer, I don't want to give it away, but his closer,
it's good,
top notch.
Yeah, it was good. It was a nice little swerve because. But yeah, I won't say anything else.
Yeah, we won't give it away.
Yeah.
But then, Roca was up there. Roca's really coming into his own. Ken Knapsack, whose book is out this weekend. I got sent 2 copies of his book in the mail by Amazon.
Maybe we should give one away.
Should we do that?
It's up to you.
You know what, fans? We're going to do that. I got 2 copies of Ken Knapsack's book, Why We Love Star Wars. So I'm going to tell you what. This is going to be our thing.
Okay.
Because you know what hashtag boat means. It means best of all time. But it has other meanings, like Brad's opinions are true and all that. Come up with the best acronym for boat.
Okay.
B-O-A-T.
I like that.
Comment in it in the comment section below. Come up with the best acronym for boat. Winner will get a copy of Ken Knapsack's book.
I think for those who don't watch it on YouTube, at least they tweet at SD Rundown.
Tweet at SD Rundown. If you're a listener only, tweet at SD Rundown. If you're on YouTube, comment below with the best acronym for boat, and we'll send out Ken Napzok's book to you. But it's such a great night at the comedy show. And then to come here, the World Gym Arena, the whole day, walking in. Now, you came in like when nothing was set up before.
Right.
And then when you walked back in and you saw the ropes tighten, the lights on, the screens on, the Tron on, the music blaring, like, what did you think?
So the lights on just over the ring. Then I was like, whoa. This is some legit stuff that's going on. And yeah, the screens are up and everything's lit up now. All the lights are on. Because we walked in, it's kind of dark and
Yeah,
you get to see it and everything. But once those lights are on, everyone knows by now after you've watched the event.
Right.
Man, it felt like a big time sporting event, and we were just answering questions in a ring, and yet this energy was there.
it was way more physical than it should have been.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
I want to get into the matches, but again, I feel like we have to talk about the experience before, because so many people I got to talk to who were in that crowd here in the building, and so many of them, and the night before at the comedy show, and then even afterward at the after party, so many of them were just such cool people, and we met so many guys. We met Austin, who
by
made
the
these.
way.
Let's cameraman, zoom in. Look at this. We got Austin. Our man Austin made these. These are luggage tags. He made them for all the performers on the show, and they all had our nicknames. Frank says what? Stats?
Yeah, Frankie Stats, Janish. That's awesome.
Mine is actually already on my luggage, and it says Brad the Boat
That's great.
Gilmore. But shout out to Austin.
I mean, he made them for all the competitors that were here at the event.
Yeah.
And just a really cool idea. Really, I mean,
And he was from Carolina? One of the
Carolina,
Carolinas?
Asheville, I think.
Yeah, I think he was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And he made the trek down, brother. I mean, that's good. And that was what was surprising to me more than anything.
Yeah.
Was how many people came from far distances. Like when we were in New York and people flew down from England and stuff like that. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But then again, it's not the furthest place in the world from New York. It's like 6-hour flight, which is still a long flight.
Sure.
But if you're going cross country from New York to LA, you're going to go about 5.5 hours. So it's a comparable to an the U.S. travel. But some of the people who came to Texas, which is in the middle of the United States, the furthest southern state, in the continental United States. We don't count Florida because come on now. But
Sorry, Aaron.
Sorry, Florida. Sorry, Aaron. You know it though. But to see people come from Switzerland. Oh no, that's from
Finland.
Finland.
Yeah, she was actually in Australia, I think, studying or working, and on her way back to Finland, she made a pit stop at a live event
In Texas.
Yeah, in Texas.
And what was funny is I was talking to her. I was like, "So you're studying? Are you in Australia?" And everybody, I don't know if y'all know this. Everybody in Australia, they don't call it college.
Call it university, right?
No, they call it uni.
Uni. Oh,
Yeah, they say, "You going to uni?" Uni. Put another shrimp on the barbie,
I don't know
whatever.
that.
and so I asked her, "Are you going to uni?" Because I wanted to feel like I was a local. You know what I mean? Like I knew.
Right.
Like I
You
understood.
know the lingo.
Yeah, she wasn't going to uni. But she came out to this event. Awesome. We got to meet her at the event. Also, Danielle, got to meet her. Really
Yeah.
cool. She was saying that she's been a Collider fan, I think, since the first season of Schmodown or second season of Schmodown.
There's some really OG like Schmoes Know fans that were
Schmoes
here,
Know, yeah.
like in it even before I was in it, and I'm just like.
Now, she was from Texas, but also we had people come in not only from Finland, from Israel.
Oh, really?
You didn't meet those guys?
No.
They came in from Israel.
That's crazy.
Israel.
Wow.
All the way to Houston, Texas. Had a guy from Ecuador come in. Just crazy.
And it really is crazy, like how fans will travel to go to a live event, and of all places, Houston. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you would think like, okay, New York's probably close
Right.
to some of these.
Or L.A. because
LA, 'cause it's Los
Hollywood
Angeles.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But hey, sometimes people, if it works for their schedule, they're like, let's do it. And that's the great thing about this fan base. If they can do it, they will. And they showed up here in large amounts of quantity of people. I don't know if that even made sense, but
That made sense.
And it was just incredible to hear everybody coming from everywhere, man.
Got to shout out a couple other people, man. Got to shout out my man Kyle and his mother.
Yeah.
Me and Kyle had a little bit too much fun at the after party.
Yeah.
We were singing Cardi B together.
That's right.
So shout out to Kyle and his mother. They drove here from Denver, Pennsylvania, and they started on Mother's Day, and they just drove down through the whole country, and they're going to drive back, take their time, go to New Orleans, all that kind of stuff. So it's just awesome for that. And we met my man Who do we meet in the bar that night who's really sweet? I wanted you to bring up on the show.
Larry?
Larry, yes, Larry.
Larry and his wife, yeah.
Larry and his wife.
Oh.
So cool.
And you know what? And look. Larry had a fun time at the comedy.
Larry was a little lit.
Larry was hilarious. He was fun.
Awesome.
And then I know he felt
Military
bad.
man. Shout out to Larry.
Yes, he felt bad afterwards. I was like, dude, no, you're good.
Larry
And
was the truth. He was one of
Larry's
my
awesome.
favorite people.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people. Now, his wife was from Houston originally.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
now they live in South Carolina.
right.
Charleston.
Yeah, and they got and they got tickets to New York.
They got tickets to New York as soon as the live event was over.
So like, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. And they were really sweet. Both of them were really sweet. And just like I said, this was more so in New York. When I was in New York, I was kind of in and out real quick, and I didn't get a chance to hang out with a lot of the fans and meet a lot of the people. And to sit here and hear my hometown, I felt like I was the host.
Yeah.
The boat was the host, and I was the boat host. And we went out, to the downtown bar and grill, which wasn't downtown Houston; it was downtown Texas City, which is a whole different kind of downtown. But so many people were out there, and like I said, just
That poor bartender.
This is great.
Oh, man.
So we go into this downtown bar and grill. There's at least 50, 60 strong,
Yeah,
if not more.
correct.
If
From
not
the
more.
show.
From the show.
Yeah.
And they were not prepared. There was one girl working. One girl was working this entire bar.
Yeah.
And poor girl, such a sweetheart. She was trying to make things happen. And then I think they had to call into the restaurant next door, and they came over and helped.
Yeah, it was like, they had to bring in reinforcements because Schmoedown runs deep, guys. Schmoedown runs deep, and we travel strong.
Yeah.
Travel strong.
Travel real strong. So shout out to all the fans and everyone who flew in. And, we were doing Booker's meet and greet, and he asked every single person, where were they from?
Oh, yeah.
And, because he wanted to know, like, where did you come in from? Because I hear everyone's traveling. He was just blown away by how many people traveled from far distances. So that was really cool. And I got to say, we're setting up here at the live event. So many people, Dad and Christian Rubalcaba.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Rubalcaba, yeah.
Rubalcaba,
yeah.
No longer Cobster. Christian Rubalcaba. I wanted to say it right.
I actually made the mistake of calling him that, and I caught myself right away.
Was he hot about it?
No, because I think he knew I was trying to catch myself, and yeah.
You know what I did?
What'd you do?
Called him Christian every time. But shout out and Cody Hall,
Yeah.
and Alex. I didn't even get a chance to talk to Cody while he was here. Didn't even have one interaction with him the whole time. But
those guys are so busy when they're doing these
so
events.
busy.
Yeah.
And I also got a shout out to Kevin Bernhardt, who's the producer here at Reality Wrestling, who was helping Thad with a lot of the tech stuff set up, and also my man Hen Dog. Hen Dog knows who he is.
Okay.
Shout out to Hen Dog for helping set up audio and stuff like that. But those guys were such hard at work. But I know me and Christian Harloff and Tom Dagnino, we all rode together to the building, and I was just waiting to see what Tom and Christian, more so Christian's reaction to the arena was, because obviously we all know you used to work for WWE, lifelong wrestling fan, Dagnino too. But when we walked in and they saw the lights, I mean, it was just this ear to ear smile on both of their faces, like, oh man, this is so awesome.
Yep, it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. Like, we're here now and we're seeing it in person, and I think the arena looks awesome on TV.
Yeah.
When you saw it on the Schmoedown, and I'm so used to seeing it for reality wrestling, that sometimes the specialness of what we have here is lost on me. Sometimes,
Yeah.
And to see those guys in the ring, and I love let's talk about the structure of the show. I love the podiums.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Way better than those cocktail tables.
Yeah.
There's just something about that design, this kind of like the scaffolding look.
Yeah.
I think they should try and use those from now on.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I think Booker T would sell them to you. I'm just saying. He's about making deals.
Yes, I'm sure he is.
But it looked cool. Like when we set him in the ring and the mics were up there, and during the first match, I was like, okay, how's this going to look with the teams and everything? It looked really cool.
It did.
I really enjoyed them standing up. It gave it more of a presentational vibe. It gave it more of a, this is, intense. Sometimes when you're in a chair, you can kind of hang out, slouch over, chill out. This is forcing you to stand up straight, be engaged.
And it gives them the chance to move around, and not everything's so static.
Right.
And, because you'll see, like you saw in the matches, whether deliberating or, coming up with a strategy, they're moving around, they're walking around, and I think that added an extra something to the matches.
Absolutely. So I like I said, I was ear to ear for like this being able to take place in, like I called it, my home court. But let's talk about the matches, man.
Yeah, let's do
I
it.
feel like we have to.
Yeah.
So let's start out with Double Toasted and the Founding Fathers. I think we all kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
But, and like I said, we're doing this the night after. Frankie J hasn't done all of his stats yet, so we'll update you on the stats. Maybe you can do an article on triviasd.com.
Well, they'll be in the
like
in the ticker down below, so those stats will be there after I rewatch the stream.
Right.
After living it live. So
Right, so-
yeah, check that ticker. It's saying stuff.
But, so I don't know. I don't remember the exact points for round number one.
Yeah.
But it was close.
Well, Merle, like I said earlier,
Went
got
perfect.
a perfect round.
Missed the bonus.
Yeah, missed the bonus. And then I think Roca had a pretty solid first round, and then Double Toasted. They fell behind a little early on.
Yeah.
And then I think Merle and Roca kind of rode that lead all the way to the end.
Yeah, no, I mean, they definitely did. But when Double Toasted came out,
It's great.
their energy was beyond.
Oh, they were definitely feeling the energy and embracing it, and they definitely embraced the physicality that this setting begs you to have. And what comes in and just takes off his shirt. And, I mean, like, that's great. Like,
kicked Roca.
He did kick Roca.
He kicked
I
him.
mean, he did the same thing against Real Rejects. Those guys just love getting physical. I
They
think. That's
Well,
fun
but
stuff.
see, here's the thing. I said this last night, and to me, it pertains more to the main event, so we can discuss it a little bit more.
Sure.
But I think so much of this was about the energy and the personalities more than the play.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, because while the play for the winners in both the matches were really, really good, and unfortunately for the losing sides, not that great, because they fell behind hard, fast, and it was almost. I mean, obviously they couldn't recover, but
Right.
It was actually quite shocking to see just how far behind they got and how soon. So it was.
The first round, Roca, I don't think it was Roca's greatest first round. He did well.
Yeah.
He did well, but Dan,
I think they had was it 11 or 12?
I think it
See,
may
like I
have been
said,
12.
the ticker will tell you that.
I think it might have been 12.
Yeah.
I think it might have been 12. I think Roca got 5. I think in his
Okay.
first round. I believe. I could be wrong about this. But I'm just saying, Dan, this is what I want to bring up. Dan has been playing so lights out. And we've seen Dan Merle obviously climb to the top of the Movie Trivia Schmodown universe 3 different times now.
Yeah.
This current run, post Andrew Guy loss, has been, I think, his best play to date.
100%. And like I said, I think on our last show, you're getting to see one of the greats. Maybe it's not a singles match, but you're still getting to see Dan Merle play the Schmodown. Like, that's huge. And this, a lot of people think he's the GOAT of the Schmodown.
Well, he is.
And it's fair.
I really, but let's be honest. At this point,
No,
there's no even close second, in my opinion.
in terms of just the singles league, yeah, he's hands down, I think.
In terms of overall,
I think there's an argument to be made for people like Rachel or even Kalinowski, just because they're in all 3 and they can compete pretty.
I put Rachel number 2 right now.
Yeah, but I'm with Merle doing those 3 runs for 3 different titles,
In
not to
3
mention,
different eras.
in 3 different eras and 3 different kinds of belts on top of
Right.
that. Just throw that on the top. I'd still, I would give him, but I think there could be arguments made. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
We're not here to talk about that, but I'm just saying he's playing so lights
So
out. He
good.
missed the bonus question, which I asked him, which I think he said Jack Black.
Yeah, he did. He has
who was
another-
in the movie. It was about the holiday. Who was in the movie, but not great. I do love. Was, I think the first question there was about Tropic Thunder, and everyone got Jack Black, and then who was it from Double Toasted?
Corey, maybe?
I think it was Corey. Corey said, "Some black guy."
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they were perfect for a live. They're perfect for a live event.
Absolutely.
And they're like Houston's version of the Wild Berries back in L.A.
They're very Wild Berries.
But I think they're better than Wild Berries. But I would love to see Double Toasted Wild Berries.
I was about to
play.
say, Double Toasted versus Wild Berries would be a whole lot of
man,
fun.
that'd be great.
I mean, Josh McCouga in that kind of setting. The Wild Man missed his chance, though. He should have been in that squared circle.
Man, I don't know. He doesn't like wrestling, so.
Well, yeah, that's why he should have been in there,
He
so
should
somebody
have been
could
in there.
slam his ass.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Oh, imagine. Could you imagine? That'd be great.
It would have been great. So Dan Murrell goes lights out really round 1,
Yeah.
and then round 2 when Double Toasted spins Westerns.
Yeah. That was, what did they land on first? I forget. But yeah, they end up getting Western. I was like, oh boy, here we go. There's going to be some steals. And sure enough, a couple steals. And then after that, it was just a matter of time. It looked like the knockout was in clear view, within grasp. And once Founding Fathers got their opportunity, they delivered. I mean, they knocked them out on that third question. So
Yeah. But like when you get Westerns against John Roca, and then I think they went with Founding Fathers went with Kubrick, right?
that's right. Yeah, because they got
went
spinners.
Choice.
Yeah.
They went with Kubrick. Spinner's Choice was a plenty this evening.
I mean, whether it was opponents being spun or spinners being spun or landed on, I can't recall back-to-back matches with those wheel slices being landed on as much as they did. So I know people will say it's a digital wheel and this, that, and the other, but believe me, if you saw Thad, he was like, "Oh God, I can't."
But here's
the
thing, when it was being spun, even in like the practice runs,
Yeah.
like just making sure it worked, it never landed on Spinner's Choice, not one time, or opponents. Like it was random every single time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a computer algorithm, and I know people might have an issue with it, and people are like, "Oh, it's this, it's that."
Yeah.
Shut the hell up.
I mean, that's a big wheel to lug across the country.
Right.
So unless they can figure out another way to get a physical wheel to the live events, this is what we have. And it's just as fair as a normal wheel. Would it be cool to have the actual thing there? Sure. But, this works and performs just as much as the other wheel in terms of randomness. But, I mean, I can understand how people would, I get it that people will, be like, it could be rigged, but it's not.
No, it's not.
Believe me, poor Thad, man. I think Chris or somebody else got a shot at him of Thad just like,
It was
yeah.
face palming.
yeah, just like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
But
It's okay.
Yeah.
But Double Toasted, fun energy. I want to see him back in the Schmodown,
Yeah.
maybe in the studio, and maybe not against the Founding Fathers. Give him somebody. I mean, this is their second official Schmodown match.
yeah.
So you're
Founding
against-
Fathers isn't exactly the way you want to start.
your
a new
re-entry
run.
into
Or
the
re-entry,
league.
right? Yeah.
Not a good idea. So, and like I said, but smart strategy for them. I don't know if it was an intentional strategy or not, but to go to multiple choice on every answer in Westerns was, hey, look, I'm cutting the point value in half. So if I get it, I only get one, but that keeps me out of knockout range. And if I don't get it, they only get one, and
Right.
they can only build up that lead so much. And maybe they get a bad round, they get a bad category
Yeah.
in their round 2, and we can get right back in this in round 3. So whether that was their intentional strategy or not, it worked out for them. And I thought that, though, there was just no stopping Dan and Roca.
I think that was kind of like the theme of the night was once I got a full head of steam, there was no letting off the pedal there. I mean, it was what did Chris say a long time ago? A one way. What was it, Chris?
One-way train on a broken track, a ticker on a bomb you cannot turn.
That's what it felt like.
I don't know if anyone heard that, but it was pretty dope. It felt like just a runaway train.
Yeah.
In other words, is what Chris was saying, and it did, especially for that first match. But Roca and Dan, had they lost, yikes.
Yeah, and that would have. It's weird because they're in a position where it doesn't matter, if only for their integrity, their honor, their level of play that they want to keep going. And so yes, if they had lost this match, they can have a title match anytime they want against whoever the team champions are.
And that was what was interesting about their post-match interview, is that Jan Sturger was asking Dan, like, hey, so, we know you got this shot. Where are you going to go with it? And he's like, only I know. Mm-hmm. And no one else will know. And you could talk about, here's going to be a match here, a match there. You don't know when the next championship match is going to be. because I hold that power.
That's right. And because everyone's like, well, they're gonna have to play corruption. The corruption, that whole we've kind of been building back to that rematch since the tournament last year. And they don't necessarily have to play corruption. They can bypass corruption altogether and go right for that title. So, and that's kind of what was happening in the post-match interviews. Like, I know Roka would really love to destroy corruption and prove once and for all that they are the better team. And poor Chance just jumping in there. What is he doing?
He was out of his league, man. When he got in there with Roka.
Yeah.
And apparently there was some smack talk that went down at the bar afterward too.
There was, and I was gonna record it, but I think maybe somebody else did.
Was it the Cinemaniacs?
Yeah, the Cinefanatics. Yeah,
I was thinking about the Animaniacs.
Yeah.
The Cinefanatics.
Which, by the way, they were doing something really cool at the fan event or the fan meetup on that Friday with the comedy show, and at the event on Saturday. They're doing kind of like a documentary fan piece of like what the Schmodown means to you. I was in it. I did a piece, and then Chris, he also did a piece.
They didn't ask me.
No, they didn't need to. So they talked to everybody else.
You know what that documentary is not going to be?
Don't do it.
The best of all time.
I knew it was coming.
It's not going to.
So look out for that. I don't know when they're going to release that. Fairly soon, I would think. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys should also check it out, though.
I might watch it.
Let's scrub through.
Yeah, might give it a nice skimmarooski.
Skimmarooski.
So, Founding Fathers corruption is going to be awesome to see this.
If it does happen.
If it goes down.
Which I would love to see it.
And I think that it does. I think that it happens. And if it does happen, I think Founding Fathers not going to let this one slip through their fingers.
Because here's the funny thing, too. If Founding Fathers were to lose the corruption, don't matter, because what if Dan Murrow just cashes in the...
He's like, all right, boom.
Right. Or, like, what if corruption then plays for the title? Let's say they win. Who cashes in that shot to go up against corruption for the third time for the belts this time? I mean, that could be a scenario that plays out. There really is.
And you still got, Shire Wolves lurking, and you got the Odd Couple who have that opportunity to take those championships off of them. So we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And I have a feeling it's all going to come to a head at Collision. This is my prediction. I don't know this for a fact, but I think Dan Murrow cashes in by Collision.
Yeah, I think I mean, I don't know when Founding Fathers is going to play next.
I don't either.
So
it doesn't matter.
If they're going to, but you
like
think,
you said,
regardless if they win or lose,
you don't know when the next match is going to be.
It's true.
And when I'm thinking about that, I'm like, what better way in a live setting,
right?
At Collision,
it'll be live streamed, right?
In a live setting, walking out and just being like, here, it's time. Let's do it.
That could be, that'd be fun. That'd be really fun. Like if we got through, I don't know if the card hasn't been laid out yet. But let's say you get through the whole card that was announced, and then like a couple years ago with Collision when Sam cashed in, we get that bonus match.
Or could it happen at another live event? Like we have San Diego coming up. What if Dan walks out there? Clark Wolf happens to be there. If they're still the champions, the team champions, and just like, hey, impromptu right now, let's do it. Although I'm sure Christian would like to build to that match.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think with the specialness, and who knows, Dan could walk out on stage at Comic-Con and say, hey, Rachel, that defense, if she defends it, that's cute. Or, hey, this little two-way situation you got going on with whoever her opponent's going to be, it's real cute. Let's make it a triple threat.
That's another possibility, right?
Let's do it right now.
I didn't even think about the triple threat possibility.
Yeah. I'm just adding myself to this match.
Right, because you don't want to take away someone's earned shot. That could be interesting.
Or he could preempt their shot. Like, do it right before they go.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. But then
then he would have to defend it.
Right. We have to defend it right there.
Right.
And then.
Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, so maybe not.
But it would still be awesome.
It would still be pretty cool.
Just walks out right. Hey.
Like you expect someone else to walk out and it's
Whoever's
actually Dan,
Yeah,
right?
Dan.
It's actually Dan. He's like, no, we're doing this now.
But by the way, Dan Murrow starting to really embrace the new version of the Schmodown.
I think so.
Don't you think so?
I think you're
with
right.
Like promos and knowing, like having that great lines. Here's the thing. He had such a great promo with Jen Sturger after the matches. When she went to Roka said what he said.
Hey,
when does John Roka say what he said and not have something
very
to add?
very rarely.
Right.
Oh, by the way, that cutscene that they did?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
phenomenal.
Right. I mean,
So it's my favorite. And I'm hoping this made the final cut.
Yeah,
We're talking about it. Okay, it did. So it's my favorite scene in any Rocky movie is the scene that they recreated. You know, where it's after Rocky 3, and Rocky and Apollo walk in the little gym or ring, and it's just one of my favorite interactions. Is Rocky just goes, "Well, we got to get old, Apollo." And Apollo goes, "Just keep on punching, Stallion." and then he said, he goes, "You fight great, but I'm a great fighter." Yeah.
ooh. You know what's interesting, because we're talking about this scene. I didn't see it. I haven't seen it. You haven't? Did you? Were you there?
I
for
didn't
the
see
tape?
it. No.
So we were only told, we were described what the scene was. It's that Rocky scene, basically that
Between Dan and Rogan.
if you're watching this or listening to this,
You have
probably,
the privilege of something we haven't.
We haven't seen it yet, but we know it was shot because they shot it obviously after the event. So I'm looking forward to actually looking at it. But I think it was PJ Campbell who came up with the idea.
Yeah.
And then they went and shot it, and I heard about it, and I was like, oh, that is so great. And for what they said they wanted to do for that last scene, don't know if it happened. I think it did. With that freeze frame, basically, where all the colors and all that. So, damn, I can't wait to see it. And you guys have already saw it. So, but now I've seen it. Probably by now.
We've seen it by the time that you're seeing this.
Yes.
But at the time we're doing this, you've already seen it.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's right.
Hey, let's talk about though right afterward, because I had the privilege of being there on commentary. And I was
Right.
excited to be out there. The boat was out there. The fans knew the boat. The boat was happy. I was a happy boat. I was a love boat. I felt the love boat. I felt the energy of all my fellow sailors out there. Which, by the way, did you see what the place next to
That's
Downtown
right.
Bar and Grill was called?
What was it called?
It was called the Seaman.
The Seaman Port?
The Seaman's Port or something like that.
Yeah, something like, they were like, if Brad ever has a fan meetup, that's exactly what we're going to have.
At the Seaman's Port.
At the Seaman's Port.
It's hilarious.
That's great.
But yeah, I was out there and I was ready for this main event. And when they played that package, which I was with Christian earlier in the day when he got it, and we sat and watched it together. And that Still Dre acoustic version is playing, and it goes through the whole story. I mean, literally the whole career.
Right.
When we were like turning the corner, we were going to pick up Dagnino. We were watching the end of it, and like I got like goosebumps watching it. I got some chills watching it. It was so good. And even splicing in Booker in there.
Oh,
We
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about the no rules, my rule or whatever he said.
Which is my favorite promo he's done for the
yeah
for the
yeah.
show.
You were very high on this
I
promo.
loved it, man. He takes off the glasses and the eyes pop, and it's beautiful. It was great. It's my rules.
Yeah. Yeah, but see that promo. I was scanning the crowd. And did you happen to know the Crazy Andrew Guy's fan's name who's in the front row?
Which one?
The guy who was losing his mind.
The Action Army is legit some of the best fans out
So
there.
let me tell you this.
Yeah.
Shout out also to my guy Liam who flew down. I want to shout out Liam. But I was given this coin backstage by the Action Army. Now, I think y'all saw these online, but get a shot of this. This is the Action Army Civil War coin. It has Team Guy on that side, Team Bateman on that one.
I think Janine did that
She
design.
did the design, and then they had one of the fans of the Action Army put these together. I was told the gold ones are special. I think Roxy Stryer almost tried to steal my gold coin. I'm going to be honest with you.
Makes sense. She's
but-
gone down a dark path lately.
She is. She's very, very, very dark path. But I had Andrew Guy going into the match.
You did.
So when I was holding this coin, though, at the desk right before the match,
Really?
I was looking at it, and it felt like a Super Bowl coin. Did they flip it
They
at the
have
beginning?
like actual weight
these
to
things
it.
are
This
heavy.
is legit
Like,
thing, dude.
I mean, it's heavy.
That's nice.
So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to flip this coin on the
Like,
desk
what are you,
right now.
Two-Face?
No, yeah, I was going to flip the coin. Yeah, I was doing the Harvey Dent special. And I was like, whoever it lands on is going to win the match. Now, mind you, I'd pick Andrew Guy. I flipped it, and it landed on Bateman.
Did
Like
it
just
really?
did in my hand right
Oh,
there.
wow. Look at that.
It landed on Ben Bateman. And when I saw that it landed on Ben Bateman, I was like, oh, this might be a different kind of match than I was expecting. I put my fate in the coin, and that package plays. And then Andrew Guy comes out first. He comes out to Tupac off of All Eyes on Me album. Walks out there. He's got flyers in his hand.
Right.
Did you get to see the flyers?
Yeah, it was the Biggest Loser.
I think-
flyer
didn't
that this
Chris
guy
make it?
over here made.
We printed them out. The one
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So he had a stack of flyers that had Ben's face on it, and it said the Biggest Loser Schmodown Special Edition or something like that.
On broadcast on NBC.
Yeah.
He's already lost one event.
Yeah.
A live
Right
event.
now, Chris has put the graphic
Yeah,
right
yeah,
here.
yeah.
So y'all see it. But he had a stack of these flyers in his
Like
hand.
200
Yeah,
pamphlets.
but before he made his way down the ring, he pointed to the curtain, and out came the man, the myth, the legend, the five-time WCW champion, the two-time Hall of Famer, my broadcast partner on the Hall of Fame on ESPN, Booker T, the man, the myth, the legend, walked out with Andrew Guy looking spiffy.
Dude, you look good, man. That
Booker
a
was
nice
looking
suit.
svelte.
Was that a tux or was it a suit?
It was a tux. I mean, suit. It was a suit. It was a black suit.
Yeah,
black
yeah.
suit. Looked like it was cut to his definition.
Suit-cito? Oh, man, never
He was looking good, man. He was looking real good. And Book came out with Andrew Guy, who was his guy. And, he said, this is, my rules. This Booker rules. It's going to be a one-on-one match. He walks out there with Andrew. Andrew's throwing the flyers at the fans. He's really just milking this in. I mean, he's feeling
He's
it.
great.
Ben Bateman comes out sporting some spectacles.
Yeah.
He wanted to make sure he saw.
Yeah.
And he made his way to the ring. These two guys are in the ring. It's ready to go off. And then some music hits.
That's right.
Actually, before that, when Ben comes out, he comes out with Tom Dagnino.
That's right.
Let me get this in order. Comes out with Tom Dagnino. And as soon as Booker sees Tom Dagnino, he beelines for Bobby Gucci. He walks right over to him as Bateman walks by, and he goes, "What the hell are you doing here? Leave. Go." Go to the
were those
back.
his exact words?
Those weren't his exact words. I'm not going to repeat his exact words because this is a family show.
That's right.
But he was like saying, "Go.
Right.
Go back." And Dagnino's like, "Man, you can't trust this guy. You can't trust that guy. That guy, Andrew Guy, who went against my
Lady
guy.
Gaga. Yeah.
Lady Guy isn't the guy that you should be trusting, guy."
Right.
And Booker sends him to the back anyway. He's like, "I don't care what you're saying." And then round one's about to begin, but we hear some music. And out comes Robert Meyer Burnett, the captain. Robert Meyer Burnett comes out, unexpected. No one knew he was going to be here.
Because he wasn't supposed to be.
Because he wasn't going. Everyone was supposed to be banned from ringside. And Booker kind of looked over at Andrew Guy like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah.
And Andrew was like, "Hey, man, it's cool. This is my guy. He can be here." And Book was like, all right, whatever. So let's get into round one.
Round one. It started.
First off, before we get into round one, the energy in the crowd.
Yeah.
When we began reading the questions for round one, everyone got silent.
Dead silent.
You felt how tense it was. And after every question was asked, the fans would be, again, dead silent. There wasn't a lot of, catcalling or yelling in the crowd. They were very silent because it was so tense. But let's talk about round one.
Yeah, started off pretty even, and then Andrew eventually fell behind, and he started leaning into the fact that he was behind, and just let's. There was one question.
There's one question that he tried to get a repeat on.
Yeah.
And I think that the clock had run. I mean,
Right.
Christian said pins down, and then he called for the repeat, and he was not happy that he was not granted that repeat.
Especially because he's down at that point.
And he's
So-
down already, so he needed every point that he could. Doesn't get the repeat. I think it was a good call. And then he falls behind in that whole round. And I believe, though, it wasn't a major point differential.
I think it was like a 2-point differential.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up here as we're talking.
Yeah.
It wasn't a major point differential, but it was enough to where if he got a bad category in round two, Andrew Guy, it could be all over.
And I had said on Inside Showdown with Ken, which streamed before the match, and I said, if Ben does what he normally does, Andrew does what he normally does, Ben's gonna win the match. But I also said that in terms of first round, that was gonna help. That was my view was going to determine who was going to win. If Andrew had a really good first round, it was gonna be a long day for Ben. But if Ben was already ahead, and Andrew was, did what he normally does in first rounds, Ben's gonna walk away with the win. And I don't want to say that I was, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but
it wasn't
what happened.
It wasn't a big difference. The round ended 7-5.
7-5.
So I mean, it was only 2 points.
Yeah.
2 points is not a lot. And then
I mean, Ben was playing great. He only missed one question.
he only missed one question.
That's exactly what he's been doing for so long. Like I said in Inside Schmodown, that he's been very consistent. And his first rounds he's been one of the most consistent first round players we've seen over the past year and a half. And it just showed again right here. And Andrew can have the rare, really good first round. It didn't happen here. And that ultimately, the way the second round went, no one saw that coming.
And we'll talk about it, but before the second round began, we had another special surprise. As I'm looking at it on my video screen right now, we had a special surprise from none other than the woman, the myth, the legend. Roxy Stryer made her entrance into the World Gym Arena to a rousing ovation.
Yes.
People were excited to see Roxy, a major pop. But as she walked down to the ring, I'm looking at it right now, she had a very sincere look on her face, and Booker and her had a interaction.
Just a height differential. Oh my goodness. He's
height.
He's a huge man. She's just a tiny woman.
And
oh my gosh.
And she was telling Booker, like, I'm here for Ben. That's what she said. She said, I'm here for Ben. And she had this sincere look on her face. She walked over to Ben and she started saying, like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, and like, he really selling it. And then Ben kind of leans in, and then she double birded him. Said, "What are you thinking?"
And then the crowd
idiot?
popped off with that, and we were on our way.
But here's the thing: Andrew Guy pulled out all the stops.
He did.
I mean, Booker not too happy about the interferences here thus far, but Andrew Guy was trying to get in Ben's head every way he could, and I think with the Flyers saying the biggest loser. And then having Robert Marbonette come out, then having Booker come out even, and having Roxy Stryer come out. Now you've got this real full contingent over there you've got to be thinking about them in your head. And not only a sold-out World Gym Arena, but now you've got these other actors at play,
right?
Factors at play. I'm so surprised they didn't throw Ben. But Andrew Guy goes up. He spins first.
Right.
What was the first category he landed on? Do you remember?
I do not. It was just yesterday. You think I remember that? But he ended up eventually landing on opponents, and then Ben gives him movie release. Oh, he landed on movie release dates. The first spin,
right? That's
what it was, because then he gets opponents, and Ben's like, and by the way, Ben, notorious. It doesn't sound weird. He's a notorious milker. And
he's a what?
Notorious milker. I mean,
he's a notorious milker.
He is. He milks the moment. He milks it. He milks every second he can out of the moment, whether it's before a question or before a decision. And that's what he did with Guy. He was playing with Guy now. He's got because
he felt he was in the driver's seat. So after the movie release dates, Guy spins again, lands on opponent's choice. Ben gives him movie release dates.
Right.
And Andrew Guy doesn't perform well at all.
No. Got in a hole. Dates. Ben got some steals, and the next thing you know, it's like it's kind of repeating what happened with Double Toasted.
But it was 13-5.
Yeah.
Before Ben's spin, and right before Ben's spin, though, we saw Tom Dagnino walk out again, and then
in his short shorts,
which he was sporting them.
He was.
Why did you get those?
I didn't make a bet.
You got his jacket last time.
Yeah, I got his hoodie,
right.
And I told him, like, next I'm coming for the shorts. So another live event.
So Dagnino comes back out, and then so did Mark Riley. Mark Riley from Who's the Boss came
and
out.
that makes sense. Who's the Boss?
Those are your guys.
Right.
That's your team. That's your faction.
You go, okay, cool.
But then they were like, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, this whole come on out.
And they're
thing.
like, hey, come out next. Who we got next? And then Dan Murrow, by the way, wearing a Buc-ee's t-shirt, which is a big deal. We went to Buc-ee's. Did we already talk?
We talked about it in the last
episode.
Yeah.
So Buc-ee's, him having the Buc-ee's shirt, very smart. So
know your audience.
back in wrestling, a lot of times if you're the baby face, you always walk out and you put over the home team.
Right.
Like you'll put over the Rockets. You're like, I'm here, hitting threes like James Harden, and everyone's like, yeah. Or you come out in the jersey,
Right.
And that was what Dan Murrell did. But anyway, Dan Murrell comes out, then John Roca comes out. They all start walking down the ramp, and once again, Booker walks over there to meet him at the ramp. He was like, look, guys, what are you doing? And not Andrew Guy, Dagnino and Booker kind of have some words, and Booker goes, you know what? Here you go.
Yeah, because Andrew Guy has Robert Meyer Burnett coming out, Roxy comes out, and like you said, Booker's like, what?
I thought this was supposed to be one-on-one.
Right.
This is
He's
supposed to be a one-on-one
my
match.
rules, he's not listening to me, so it's like and I'm thinking in Booker's eyes, it only seems fair to let these folks come on out.
Well, he's saying now it's even.
right.
You got
you want
your
to play
folks.
this? Okay, that's fine.
You want to play this way? I thought you told me, we spoke on the phone, and you said, I want this to be a one-on-one match.
Right.
And Booker was like, you know what? And I think that's why Booker respected Andrew Guy, because Andrew Guy reached out and said, I want this to be one-on-one. Booker felt that. Booker also thought, like some of us thought, Bateman was the one who betrayed Andrew Guy.
Right.
Not the other way around. By, teaming up with Who's the Boss and then wanting to stay with Who's the Boss. So when Booker saw that, okay, you're trying to pull the wool over my eyes in my own house, it's not going to work like that. So he lets the rest of them at ringside. Then Ben Bateman goes to spin.
Oh, man.
And what does he spin, Frank?
Spinner's choice.
Spinner's choice. The crowd goes nuts. You already have an opponent's choice and a spinner's choice. People are going crazy over
And then you
this.
got Dagnino and I think Riley, talking with Bateman up there, what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And it's a quite long deliberation up there. I was like, this should be easy.
Yeah.
This should be,
I'm going to pick the category that I want to go with.
Right, yeah.
And then Ben comes over the microphone and he says, I want to spin again.
And I'm like, wait, what? I was like, what? No one has ever spun again on Spinner's Choice. It was a great moment, especially for a live event. Like, I don't know anyone else. I mean, look, Andrew is trying to pull out all these theatrics and distractions, and Ben started to play Andrew Guy's game in that way, and he played it better than Andrew Guy because he was in the driver's seat from the very beginning, and he really laid into Andrew Guy with this, and to have the audacity to spin again on Spinner's Choice. That's just another jab at Andrew Guy saying, come on, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, so he spins again on Spinner's
He
Choice.
says, I can't lose. That's what he says.
Yeah, I can't lose.
Marty McFly.
Yes. And he says, I can't lose. Spun again. And it landed on Spinner's
Come
Choice.
on, man. I mean, to be in that room with a crowd and everyone, just like, I was like, is he going to spin it again? And Andrew Guy was like, and actually I was standing next to Emma, and he's like, you only get to spin it once again. You don't get to, you can't spin it. You just pick your category. I'm like,
Andrew-
technically, that's right.
Yeah, because Ben asked, can I just spin it again?
Right.
And Christian said, I will let you. I will make an exception to the rules right now, and I will if you really want that, I'll let you spin again. And then Andrew Guy was like, no. Those aren't the rules.
Right.
Which I don't know why all of a sudden he wanted to play by the rules.
Exactly.
But he's like, no, those aren't the rules.
Because he was losing without playing with the rules, and so he thought maybe I should play with the rules now.
Yeah, maybe I should.
It's a little too late.
Maybe I'll win.
right, a little too late, man.
So Ben goes with Oscar movies, and
Real quick though, it's like, first of all, I understand what Andrew's saying, but like at the same time, if Ben were to spin again, he could land on opponent's choice. So if you're Andrew, you kind of want him to spin again.
Right.
Because if he lands on opponents, then you can pick, whatever category you want to pick for him.
so I thought for a minute Ben should have said,
That's what I
Andrew
thought.
Guy.
That's what
you
I
pick
thought
it.
too. I thought that would have been another baller move. I mean, spinning again is one thing, but I think, look, he took like a calculated, smart risk in spinning again because he doesn't entirely leave it up to Andrew Guy. He lets the wheel decide his fate. But yeah, like you, I thought it'd be super baller if he goes, Andrew, you go ahead and pick it.
Pick a category.
Pick a category. Come on, give me your best shot.
Yeah. But-
that could have been cool too.
But had Andrew Guy picked the category, Ben crapped the bed in it, and then ended up losing the match. He becomes the biggest idiot in the history of the movie Trivia Schmoedown.
way worse than when what do you call it, Real Rejects and
Yes.
Wolves of Steel. Like it would have been beyond that.
Wait, it would have been the biggest.
or like
blunder.
top that picking biopics for top 10.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, one of those obvious ones. So I think that it's probably smart that he didn't do that.
Yeah.
And he just went with Oscar movies. But by the way, I wish that Booker was wearing a GoPro
Oh my
throughout this
gosh.
whole match because he was having so much fun. And at one point during the second round, he had a white handkerchief in his front pocket.
It's a great moment.
And he pulls it out and he starts waving the white flag.
That's great.
Like, hey, it's done. And then I actually called him out on commentary about it. I said, he's waving the white flag. And then the camera goes over to Booker and he just starts dabbing.
He's
his
like, oh,
forehead.
no, it's a little warm in here.
A little warm.
Yeah.
And
like-
and then there was a Gus Van Sant question about who directed.
Gus Van Sant, yeah.
Who directed
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. And then Booker turns to the crowd. He goes, I know this one. I know this one.
It's great. Oh,
So-
man, it's so good.
So good. But anyway, Ben Bateman does phenomenally in round 2 with Oscar movies,
Mm-hmm.
knocks out Andrew Guy, and you would thought that would have been when it ended.
That was, you thought, I mean, yeah, I know there was 2 knockouts this night. There was actually 3. There was actually 3.
There's actually a third knockout. So after the match, Jen Sturger goes in there to try to talk to Ben Bateman, the winner.
Get those post-match
And
interviews.
then I saw Robert Meyer Burnett, the captain, hand Andrew Guy a chair.
a chair.
Now, this is a wrestling arena, and under the ring, there always happens to be things. I don't know who puts it.
I guess there's a lot of storage space under
It's a lot of
ring.
storage space. You know, it's dead space. You got to fill it up with something.
Why not?
So there's a lot of times you'll find ladders or tables, and in this case, chairs under the ring.
Yeah.
It just happens. I don't know why. Sometimes kendo sticks. I've seen thumbtacks under the ring
Thumbtacks,
before.
sure.
So this time there was a chair.
It's like Office Depot down. It's like Office Depot down there.
It's like it really is. It really is. It's like a bait and tackle sometimes. But Robert Meyer Burnett slides Andrew Guy a chair, hands Andrew Guy a chair. Andrew Guy's about to swing it. He rears back to swing it, and who stops him but Booker T?
I mean, there is some freaking fantastic moments from this night. And look, just huge thanks and props to Booker for being a part of this. I mean,
Yeah.
he really, I mean, look, this is all very kind of silly. We all recognize that, but we're having fun. But with Booker there, he really does bring some like
Legitimacy.
validity,
Yeah.
to what we're doing. And the fact that he was so on board and now he's like getting involved with all of this, dude, it's so good.
So, I mean, Andrew goes to swing the chair. Booker grabs it. And then what does he do? Hands it to Ben Bateman.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what? This sucker Andrew Guy is trying to pull the wool over
Yeah.
my eyes. He goes, but he forgot one thing. I'm the big bad wolf.
Right.
So he hands over the shears.
It's like that scene in Lost World at the very end where the Mama T-Rex is in. They're in the boat.
They're in the boat.
and he goes, the little T-Rex. That guy comes out, who owns InGen, and he's like, let the little T-Rex go and get its kill.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of that. actually.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. So he hands the chair over to Ben Bateman, and then Andrew Guy tries to powder out and run. He tries to
Right.
get out of here,
A little B.
and John Roca grabs him,
Which
is
is-
great poetic justice.
Because they have history.
They have history and forget-
tackle
I mean,
history,
tackle.
match history. I mean, he TKO'd him, but team action top 10. Obviously, we all know that. So, just in that interaction alone, that's literally been months, years in the making of like an actual confrontation. But I mean, yes, they had their singles match, but like what Andrew did physically to Roca, and now what Roca is in a position to kind of set Andrew Guy up for. You're right, it's poetic.
It was poetic, and Roca just grabs Andrew by the shoulders and throws him towards Ben Bateman, and Ben Bateman goes bam in the gut with the chair. Andrew Guy bends over, he has his back exposed, and Ben Bateman comes back and just whallops him.
Yeah.
I mean, he mollywopped that man with that.
Mollywop,
with that
I've never heard
chair.
that in a while.
And Guy was down for the count.
Yeah.
I mean, this was worse than Deontay Wilder's fight last night where he knocked the guy out in the first round. Incredible.
Oh, that crowd, man. Went ballistic.
Crowd went nuts. And then what happens? All 5 of them line up, Dagnino included. Who's the boss? And then Roca. Who's the boss and the Founding Fathers all line up.
Right.
And then once again,
The 5.
the 5s go up.
And Ben, the last to put up the 5. And
And he is now a
He's in-
member of the 5 Horsemen.
and look, we feel like this was being set up. Didn't know if it was really going to happen because Roca, obviously, we've seen in the past, has history and problems with team action. That's Ben and Andrew.
But also Ben said, I don't want to be in the 5
Right.
Horsemen.
Right. And I think what probably changed his mind was that support in the moment. It was a huge match for Ben. And
His life was on the line.
Right. Yeah.
He actually texted me, and I hope he doesn't mind me revealing this. But Ben Bateman, when he got into town, texted me, and he said if I can find him, I'll tell you what he said. but Ben Bateman texted me when he got into Houston, Texas, and he said this. He said, "It's life or death for me." And that's how he felt. So to have the support of his brothers, like you said, there at ringside for him, that's probably what in his head was like, you know what, this is right. This feels right.
Right.
And to have the founding fathers, Mark Riley, Tom Dagnino, who would have thought he would ever have been an honorary Five Horseman?
I mean, this dude's come a long way from being the knucklehead of Finstock.
Think about this, though. Tom Dagnino and Ben Bateman used to be two of the top heels in the
It's
Movie
true.
Schmoedown.
You're right.
And now they're two of the top baby faces.
Absolutely. And I mean,
John Roca, another one.
True, very true. It was quite a sight to see another. I mean, it's interesting actually. Like we have another like Five Horsemen reveal at a live event.
Yeah.
But this one was pretty cool because we already knew Dan Murrell obviously, but the way everything went down, all the theatrics, and then let's bring this thing home, and we are the Five Horsemen now. 4 with an honorary 5th.
Honorary 5th. It's like a 5th Beatle, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? He's there. But Ben Bateman goes off, wins it, and, the stipulation went in his favor.
Yeah.
He's not going to be out of the singles tournament or anything like that. And where does this leave Andrew Guy?
It's a good question. He still has the family, obviously, and him and McWeeny, I think, will be a formidable force. They played pretty well against Bateman and Dagnino. Now, obviously, that's kind of a handicapped match for Bateman, which in that match he had a perfect first round. So like I said, consistency with him earlier. But with Andrew Guy and McWeeny, I think Andrew Guy really has no business playing in singles for quite some time at least. It'd be interesting to see if he can like weasel his way into the tournament and really piss some people off if he gets like a win or two. Mm-hmm. That could be very interesting. But right now, I think McWeeny wants his belt back too. So the team belt. So McWeeny, I think, will carry Andrew Guy whenever he has to when they have a match. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go. And also now with Roxy kind of really joining,
corner,
and now what does that mean for the Odd Couple now?
Yeah, I mean, is it going to be one big family?
Right, right. One odd family, So that's
I
right.
like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Proud Family, but it's the Odd
They
Family.
could be called the Modern Family.
The modern family. That's great. So I don't know what this really means for Roxy. I mean, is she gonna dump him now because he lost and like I'm not attaching myself to losers?
Right.
I got a quality team and the Odd Couple here that can do some damage. So that's another angle that I don't know where it's gonna go. So it'll be fun to find that out. But as far as Andrew Guy, he's better stick to teams because that's the only thing he's got. And Robert Meyer Burnett, always great to hear him yell.
Always great to hear him yell. But what a phenomenal weekend.
Oh,
I
man.
can't even believe that it actually happened.
Oh, by the way, Andrew Guy coming up and then plopping down again. Great moment.
Oh, yeah, a classic Ric Flair face bump right there. And Medics had to get him out of the ring.
Right.
And it was, I think I said this to you maybe last night. I was a little bit concerned at first. Like, I was like, how is this going to translate to being in the ring and in an arena?
Yeah.
And, what is it going to be like? I didn't know. I just didn't know. I thought that it would be a natural fit. I didn't know, though, if the fans would feel weird about it or anything. It was perfect. It was like a match made in heaven.
It really was. And I was just thinking about, because Christian's talked about the dream is to like get his own studio for the Schmoedown. And I have to imagine it might look like something like this.
It could.
Some variation of this. Maybe not necessarily a wrestling ring, obviously.
Right.
But
maybe even like a wrestling-esque set.
Right. And very much inspired. So I think as this thing builds, as this ride continues that we're all on, one day we might have something like that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And that would be, I think who sent like a picture to someone, I forget, sent a picture, I think it was Roca. He sent a picture to his girlfriend, and she was like, what is that? And just like, what the hell is that? And I was like, that's the future.
Yeah.
That's the future of this show. I really believe that, yeah.
I feel like adding this element. And one more thing about Ben Bateman, Andrew Guy said it about Double Toasted match, but that match really was not about the play.
No.
At all. It was about the story.
Yeah.
It was all about the story. It could have ended in round 1. And if we still had the same result going off the air the same way we did, it would have felt like a complete story.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about this match is the way that the story was constructed within the rounds, weaved in and out of the rounds.
Right.
And honestly, I'd like to see more of that. I would totally be on board for that. I know there's probably some like hardcore only trivia people out there that could do without it, and I understand. But I think, like, how can you disagree with the results? I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to, maybe not all the time, but, we should start peppering that in when we can.
Maybe this isn't the last time that we're going to see the Movie Trivia Schmodown make their way down to Texas City, Texas,
I
Houston,
hope not.
Texas for the World Gym Arena venue. I would like to see another one, man. But
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
I think we've said it all. Basically, this was a fantastic event. I'd love to come back again to do this, to have this kind of energy and pomp and circumstance. It was just incredible. And I always say, after every live event, I just feel like every live event is better than the last. I don't know if the next one's going to be as good as this, but which will be in San Diego,
Right.
for the for Comic-Con weekend, the Intergeekdom Championship between Rachel and either Smets or Kalinowski, which will be a hell of a barn burner. Oof. Which will be at Collision, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So that number one contender match, right? But this event, this whole weekend, meeting everybody, watching the matches, seeing their reactions. I mean, this is the first time for a lot of people, a lot of fans, to see their favorites in person. It's Christian or Knapsack, Riley, Merle, Roca. I mean, all of them, and you can really see the appreciation and thankfulness on all of their faces and everything that they said. Whether it's to me or you or any of the other players out there, you really get the sense that they really do care and are really grateful for everything that we've done. And it's just makes doing what we do, just personally for me, it really gives myself a boost.
Yeah,
and I think it gives everybody else involved with the show, the players and competitors, Christian and Mark, it really gives them a boost and lets us all know that, like, we're on the right track, I think. So this was a great weekend.
Yeah, man. I got to shout out to, obviously, Book, who I know
Yeah.
very well, but, opening the doors and letting Schmodown believe in me when I first told him, hey, man, I think this is something, being receptive
Yeah.
to it and opening the doors to us. Got to thank Christian and Mark for, being willing to
Yeah.
come down to Houston and check this thing out and take a gamble on a market they'd never come down to before. And I think that
Right.
we proved it well, man. And, being able to sit there out on the commentary table for these matches was really awesome. Shout out to the entire crew, all the fans from this weekend.
Yep.
Shout out to all the competitors combined. The boat thanks you. The stat man himself, Frank Janish, thanks you. Also got to give a big shout out to our producer, Chris Clark, for making this video work in person. And we got to shout out to Jacoby. Got to give Jacoby a shout out for helping out with the video as well. But Frank, Frank, anything else?
No, man, that's it. I think I'm ready for the coming weeks. So let's do this.
Let's do this. Well, for Frank Janish at FrankieJ29, for Chris Clark at Chris Clark 8788. Those numbers mean nothing. I am the boat, Brad Gilmore, on all social media at Brad Gilmore. This is the Schmodown Rundown. We'll see you next week.
I can't believe you rode bitch the entire time for that commentary.
I hate you.